John Hour says, what the hell is an infinite baffle? I hear it and I'm like, okay. So the baffle on a speaker is where you mount the drivers, right? The front baffle, right? So in a car, the baffle could be whatever it's mounted to. It could be your door panel is the baffle. Infinite baffle just means it's not really infinite, right? Because there's no wall or no mounting surface that is like goes on forever, right? But the idea is kind of the same. The way that speakers work is sound is going forward, but there's also sound that goes backwards, right? And if you can separate the sound that goes back from the one that goes forward, then what am I trying to say? I wish Aaron were here, is what I'm trying to say. But at a certain point, you can have a baffle that's so big that none of the sound that's going to the back is affecting any of the sound that's going forward. I think that's it. So if you have let's say if you have a baffle that's only this wide, definitely bass is so long that it's going to get around that and eventually come out and cancel some of the waves that are going forward, right? And so typically what we do is we have a box, right? So you put it in a sealed enclosure, let's say. So you're separating out what's the sound that's going forward from the sound that's going back into the enclosure. But that doesn't always have to be the case, An infinite baffle for a car would be something where let's say you have a woofer and it's firing out to the outside world, right? And the other drivers firing inside. Actually, that's called an infinite baffle, but now that I think about it, it's more like a sealed enclosure, except you're inside the enclosure. Funny. Hopefully that answers a little bit, but basically you don't actually have to have a box. You just need to separate the waves that are going back from the waves that are coming forward. And the larger that wall, so if it's a wall, right, that whole wall is acting like a baffle. I think that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that is the correct answer. Michael Squire says doesn't have a box. Here's Revive. He says, as far as the room is concerned, it's infinite if the front and rear of the driver are facing completely different enclosed spaces. And Reverend Slam says, infinite baffle equals how baffled I was watching Kinds of Kindness just now. All right. Yeah, Revive says, see, you're right. I was right. You're inside a sealed enclosure in the car. Make sure to check out our audio-only version of the podcast at anchor.fm/Daily HiFi, or just go to your favorite podcasting service and search for Daily HiFi.